beginning to wonder what was more exceptional when Stephen Ross sat down with Joe Philbin across the table and said, "That's my man," after listening to Joe, or was he more excited when he heard Mike McDaniel say things like that? Mike, how would you face? How would you face your team after a small, short, hopefully losing streak? And he says something like that, and Stephen Ross says, "This is the guy. Get the contract." Nick Garfunkel, get in here with the contracts.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
All right, welcome to the show. We survived the cold snap, but I think it froze the keys on Louie's computer. Either that or young Luca's waking up in the middle of the night and messing with things. So a little bit of a late start here, and we have a large agenda here today. A couple of minutes from now, I'll be joined by Tony Segreto. We're going to do a little bit of an early dive into old school with Tony Segreto. Ed Garcia from Texas Roadhouse Restaurant's going to join us. Although I don't know if Ed needed sedation after last night's Michigan Wake Forest game. Basketball, that was. The basketball season already underway. Dusty May, of course, with his foundation as a head coach, began right here at FAU. He made a remarkable run into the Final Four. Remember those days, Lubie? We had FAU and the University of Miami with our good friend Jim Larinaga in the Final Four. Two South Florida basketball teams. College basketball here didn't mean a whole heck of a lot for most of the return of basketball. I mean, it meant something, I guess, when Rick Barry was here. Then it came back, and a few occasions where there were reasons to celebrate, but most of the time, we were also Rans, completely irrelevant. And then, bang, zoom to the moon, Alice. Two teams in the Final Four just a few short years ago. Since that time, Dusty May, of course, you had to think that that was going to be a boost to his career. He gets the Michigan job. He was highly coveted by many other schools, no doubt. And Jim Larinaga just threw in the towel and said, enough of this NIL nonsense and transfer portals. I'm out of here, but still affiliated with the University of Miami in an advisory capacity. So Jim Larinaga is still around. I actually sent Jim Larinaga a text the other night. I didn't get anything back. I don't even know if he knew where it came from. I ran into another guy that had heard of Eddie Malloy, the guy that we ran by him thinking, here's an obscure basketball name that Larinaga will never have heard of. And sure enough, it turned out he was his arch rival as a kid in high school. And I was at a little gathering, and I was talking. People discovered, oh, yeah, you were a sports guy. Hey, do you know this guy? Do you know that guy? And I was talking about New York basketball with a guy that had a pretty good grasp on what New York basketball was all about back in the day. And, of course, he, like Jim Larinaga, knew everything there was to know about Eddie Malloy. Relatively obscure reference, but nonetheless, I will never forget those days at the Merrick Road Park. Eddie Malloy, Dr. J, and Dick McGuire, one of the McGuire brothers, former Knicks coach. 3-on-3, they held the court for the entire evening, and you would wait 40 guys to get your turn to come back out there, and next thing you know, they were turning out the lights. So good to be with you guys. Tony's going to be with us in just a minute. Speaking of New York basketball legends, another obituary of significance, Michael Ray Richardson. Do you ever, that's probably before your time, Lubie? This was a guy that had style, he had substance, and unfortunately, he also had a massive amount of substance abuse. Eventually was suspended permanently, lifetime ban from the NBA, which I think was upheld. It was kind of a heartening conclusion to that side of the story where David Stern is taking in some games in Europe that were involving, I believe, NBA teams going against European teams, or NBA players, some configuration of NBA players playing in Europe against European teams. And Michael Ray Richardson comes up to David Stern, taps him on the shoulder, and thanks him essentially for saving his life, saying that he would have never kicked the cocaine habit if it weren't for the fact that he was suspended and kicked out of the NBA. But many people felt, including Magic Johnson, that this was one of the great point guards in all of basketball history, also known as Sugar Ray Richardson, and he checked out at 70, and a lot of people didn't think he would make it much past 31 or whatever it was, whatever his age was at the time that he was suspended. But great ball player, had a lot of flash, largely, and here's the answer to a trivia question. He was dealt by the New York Knicks for Bernard King. So he helped the Knicks sustain an era of at least having one player. You know what we always say, Lubie, if you're not going to be good, be entertaining. And certainly Michael Ray Richardson and Bernard King both made the Knicks entertaining at a time where they were trying to bridge the gap between like Willis Reed and eventually getting Patrick Ewing in that rigged draft. How come Trump never mentions that? You talk about a selection process that was rigged. That had to be it. Was that ever more deeply investigated, Lubie, or did people just shrug their shoulders and assume it was one of those things that the league made some very careful arrangements on? But yeah, he's a great ball player, talent, and fortunately was able to turn his life around after just a bizarre bout of substance abuse. And checks out at 70. Bunch of stuff going on last night. I don't know, were you involved at all in the sports smorgasbord that was available? You had a lot of college basketball going on last night. Some big teams involved, including Lubie.
I know.
No mention of your Florida State Seminoles so far in the basketball season. They got off to a 2-0 start.
Yeah. I mean, Luke Laux, the new head coach, former Warriors assistant, and he's done a good job in recruiting, and he's done a good job to start the season.
2-0, and they lose to the Gators last night, the highly ranked and highly regarded defending national champion Florida Gators in Gainesville. And they go down 78-76. Michigan and Wake Forest staged a beauty, 85-84. Michigan prevailing there in a real bloodbath. Louisville was up 20 when I was watching this game against Kentucky. Kentucky managed to close the gap, but arch rivalry game there in the blue blood state. And Louisville ends up winning 96-88. North Carolina, this guy, Caleb Wilson, is it? Yeah, Caleb Wilson. Yes. Wow. Lighting it up, Lubie. 5-star recruit. Yep. North Carolina, not extremely. What are they ranked? Like 25, something?
Top 25, yeah.
87-74 over Kansas. So you had some heavyweights going at it last night in college basketball. The Heat and the Cavs will do it again tonight, a rematch of what turned out to be a wildly entertaining game, 141-38 in overtime. And the Heat were doing that without Bam Adebayo. When's Tyler Hero coming back? Any idea about that?
He's coming back soon. He started traveling with the team, so I thought he'd be back sometime this week. There is no word on that, so we're going to talk with Mr. Heat himself. So hopefully Ethan has a better idea of that than we do.
If anybody would know, I think that Ethan Skolnick probably has a better handle on what's going to happen with Tyler Hero than even Tyler Hero's own doctors and Heat medical staff. Probably knows more about it than Dr. Harlan Selznick, who I saw recently. Always a great guy. Harlan Selznick's been the team Heat physician since their inception. Does a great job. And he's done some really high-profile operations on the biggest of athletes, including Michael Jordan, right? Didn't he do like Michael Jordan's knee at some point in time?
So.
I think he may have. Anyway, Scoop would know what's going on with Tyler Hero, and the Heat off to a real good start in the NBA as they will take on the Cavaliers again tonight after that big 2-point overtime victory. The 76ers did me in last night. I made a couple of predictions yesterday on some games on my Bury the Bookie show, nofilter.net. I'm going to have to get out of the selection game, Lubie. Yeah, I have been ice cold at the track for like a couple of months and even colder in picking games. I think I went 0-5 on the Bleacher Brothers show this past week. I might have hit 1. Jesus. But it was such a bloodbath for me that I don't even know if I can't remember if I had the winning selection in the one game that I had a chance in. Everything else on the losing side. And then last night, I don't know why I did this. I just figured I had to give something out. I was obligated to pick a couple of games. You're on a handicapping show. How do you just babble on for like 15 minutes and go, okay, guys, you're on your own? They'd be far better off on their own unless they're using the theory that whatever this guy picks, I'm going against it. And if you're doing that right now with me, you are making massive profits. Massive profits. I need like a dilaudid drip when I even start looking at the odds. It's insane. But I had the 76ers. I didn't realize that Joel Embiid was not going to play in this game. And he's missed, I think, half of the Sixers games, 5 out of 11 games, maybe. About half of the games. This time, he had an operation on his left knee, but now he's out with right knee soreness. I missed that. Whiffed. Whoosh, swing and a miss. Strike 3. And so the Celtics were able to be within 2 points of the 76ers last night on the road. I don't know why I just summarily discounted anything that was going to happen with the Celtics this year. You, Lubie? I mean, once they had the injury to Tatum, I thought, what chance did they have? I know Jaylen Brown's a hell of a player, and There was always theories that Jaylen Brown would be better off without Jason Tatum on the floor. I don't know that the Celtics overall are better off without
No,
Jason Tatum on the floor.
no,
I can't
no,
imagine that.
no.
So they gave a good account of themselves last night. I think they came into that game, were they 5-6, something like that, and ended up losing, but only losing by 2, getting 3.5. So I lost that one. And then what possessed me? We had made a score the week before, stealing another guy's pick with Akron over UMass, the Akron Zips over UMass. And so it hit that. Akron blew out UMass. UMass absolutely stinks. In fact, they're involved in a game tonight. UMass is taking on Northern Illinois. Well, it wasn't Northern Illinois. They were one of our darlings at one time of the professor.
In football, yeah. 15 years
What
ago.
happened to them? They're no good this year?
It's been a while. They haven't been good for a handful of years.
Shows you what I know and the amount of level of research I was doing before I was burying the public with these blind selections. But Kent State triumphs over Akron in overtime, getting 5.5 points. And if you're going to lose, you may as well lose and get completely steamrolled, no, Louis? So my parlay was 0-2. It would have been even more frustrating to lose that game in overtime had the 76ers prevailed at the spread. But that's the way it's been going. So a lot of stuff was going on last night. I watched a replay of the Alcaraz-Taylor Fritz match. Man, those guys were knocking the crap out of the ball. It was unbelievable. And Alcaraz managed to prevail in best of 3 in the final 2 sets. He took the final 2 sets and beat Taylor Fritz, who that guy's always knocking on the door, right? Is he the one chance we have to have a top-level breakthrough in American tennis? Is he ever going to do it? Lubie, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it feels he's gotten himself into the top 10, and he hovers around. But it seems like the quarters or even the semis, he sort of just can't get past that level. I know with Alcaraz,
2 guys at the top there.
It's tough, but it's not 4 guys like we had in the 2010. So you would think he'd be able to find a way to get 1. I don't know. He's still a young dude. He's still coming on the scene. So hopefully he can grow like they grew.
We'll see, man. Maybe he can pull an Agassi and straighten things out a little bit later in his career. But he never went away like Agassi did. All right, Tony Segreto's ready to roll with us here, and we're going to squeeze in a lot of stuff here in the next few minutes on the show. There's Tony, and I'm judging by the background that you're still in town, Tony. How are you, my friend?
Still in town.
That's right. You're here until Thanksgiving, right?
Thanksgiving. Yep. A couple more weeks.
You've only told us that 100 times. I still can't remember it. It's unbelievable. I'm a mess, Tony. I'm just a mess today. How are you, Tony? What's going on?
I'm fine. Lubie, I want to check on my father.
I'm okay. Look is better today. Look, I had a good night last night, and so far he's sleeping very nicely while we do the show. So far I'm okay.
Is he eating more food?
He's eating like a lot. We went to the doctor yesterday for the month checkup. He is over 8 pounds now, meaning he's gained 3 pounds since he left the hospital.
He's doubled in size.
He's almost 21 inches, and he was 18 and a half. So he's a big kid. And he's like
this kid? Texas Roadhouse ribeyes?
I'm ready. I think he's ready for it. The way he's drinking
up that food. Oh my God. Oh my God.
He couldn't find those gift cards he stashed, and Luke had them in the paper. Unbelievable. He's ready to take advantage of Ed Garcia.
Let's tell Ed that story because I don't think he'll believe it.
No.
Perfectly, realistic. All right. How was the game, Tony? I know you went to a game. Are they actually in the field right now as it's ranked for the college football playoff? I know they're ranked 15th, but
they're not.
Did I see a configuration where they're lined up to play Texas Tech?
ESPN did some 12-team thing that they came up with, but again, they're not in the top 12, and they're not in the conference championship game. So the ACC, as it stands, is probably going to only get 1 bid. You're not going to take a team that's not even in the conference championship. Like again, they get an automatic bid. So to get the second team in is going to be really tough. Louisville, Virginia, Georgia Tech has sort of screwed the ACC because they've now compiled their multiple losses. So it's tough sledding for the Canes. I mean, look, if they win out, they're in an interesting spot. I'm just the way that they've struggled the last couple of weeks. Yes, in the second half they pulled away, but struggled for the first quarter for Syracuse, struggled for a half for Stanford. Like NC State has an interesting team. And then you look at Pitt, who is a top 25 team that, again, is very disciplined, plays smart football, doesn't make those mistakes, which is what allowed to sort of wake up versus Syracuse, because they were in a malaise until the second quarter. And then the customary stupid interception or stupid fumble, which is something they've lived on this year, got them going. Until that point, their offense was doing nothing in that game, and their defense was getting the job done. But to me, it was as much because Syracuse doesn't have their quarterback. Like, if Syracuse has their starting quarterback that was looking really good early in the season, I don't know what the game was. So yeah, the Canes are hovering around the playoffs is the way I would put it.
There's all these 2-loss teams that are on the verge of either going high or going down. Notre Dame plays Pitt this week. That's a big game.
That's a big game. Yeah,
it's a big game.
Now, what was your experience like, Tony? Were you in the stands, in the press box?
I was in the
royal suite. What the heck?
I was in the alumni box. I saw so many, so many great players were there. From 1960s Tom Smith to Kerry Baker to just an assortment of former players. It was great. We sat there and watched the game and criticized and cajoled, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
So you didn't go as an ordinary schlepper. I'm assuming you had some premium parking and rolled in there with the usual Segreto fanfare.
Yeah,
we were out there in right field like we were for that Florida game, which once again the seats were great, and I hope you thank this guy who gave you the tickets, because that couldn't have been any better. Where would you rather be, stands or in one of the suites?
If I'm in a suite like I was this past weekend, I'll go to the suite every time, because I could talk.
Okay, it was football people. Okay,
yeah,
and talk football.
Did they have one of those giant sub sandwiches? I always like that in the suites at Hard Rock.
Chicken fingers.
They didn't have any food.
No,
really?
Why didn't you walk out, Tony?
In a box, it doesn't have any food.
You had to go get
it. And you were in a place with no free food. How did you know you were even at a game at that point? If it's not catered, it's not journalism. You know that.
Yeah, it's not free. It's for me.
Yeah. So how did they do that? Well, you had to go out to the concession stands and buy a hot dog, even though you're Tony Segreto and you're hobnobbing with royalty from the 60s, 70s, 80s. Incredible. Yep. All right. Yep. And what kind of crowd was on hand for the Syracuse game?
40,000, I guess.
Is that good? I mean, how do people perceive that?
We were talking about it.
It looked pretty empty.
The upper deck was desolate. So it was.
Does that still strike you as being odd? I mean, look, the Hurricanes back in the day when they used to fill the Orange Bowl, when they were always playing and contending every game, seemed like the national championship was on the line. I understand that that's not going to be the case forever. But are you surprised that at this point the Hurricane football team is not a bigger draw?
Yes, and to that point, all the guys, every single one of them, from the 60s, the 70s, just like you said, mentioned the Orange Bowl.
As it was great at the time, but should be obsolete.
Mentioned the advantage they had playing at the Orange Bowl.
Tony, I mean, where do you stand on this? It was there's no way you could have continued.
You couldn't continue, but it was a great place.
It was fantastic when they were good, but
I was sad.
Yeah, to see it go sucked. But the fact that they over the years didn't just renovate it and do upgrades, but by the end of it, it was a disaster.
They did upgrade. They did upgrades, but they were meaningless.
Yeah, they did. Well, they never did the kind of stuff you see them do to like Ann Arbor. Or they're doing to Doak. They're doing to a Touchdown G, whatever. I don't even know what the Notre Dame Stadium's called. They just see Touchdown Jesus or
Notre Dame Stadium.
Denny Stadium. Like Georgia Stadium, the two Death Valley. Like those are really old stadiums, but they find a way to keep going.
They upgraded them and they did a nice job.
Yeah, they never did that with Orange Bowl. So like.
I don't think it was capable.
But again, the Orange Bowl.
Probably not.
What?
Deep was saying.
I don't think you could have fixed it up though. I mean, I can still envision the first time I walked out onto the field and you had to go underneath the stadium there. And I literally thought I would be safer in a Colombian soccer stadium. It looked like it had been built with an erector set, Tony. You would remember the old erector set. I've never seen an infrastructure that was not even fragile, just on the verge.
You took your life into your own hands when you went down. Because every time you walked underneath the tunnel, you thought to yourself, God, just get me through.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I believe today also, speaking of the Orange Bowl, is what would it be? 1982 would have been 43 years ago. Is that possible?
Yes.
I believe on this, what is it? Oh, today's the 13th. Yesterday was the 12th. Today's the 12th, right?
Today's the 12th, yes.
I believe it was November 12th, 1982. One of the great events ever staged there off the football path. Alexis Arguello and Aaron Pryor, I believe, took place on this day. The fight at the Orange Bowl. And that was one of the all-time classics.
I remember that.
Oh, what a match that was. I loved Arguello. I'm sure you got to know him as well because
that was a battle. That was a fight. That was a fight.
Pretty incredible, yeah. Stanley Christodoulou, the referee, Arguello, never forget this, had many interviews with Alexis, and he said, and he hits Pryor with a sledgehammer shot somewhere in one of the late rounds, and he said he knew he was finished because Pryor was just laughing. And it wasn't one of those, where you get knocked out 2 seconds later. I mean, he literally was just laughing. And Alexis said, I never seen anything like that.
He was a great guy. He was a great guy.
Really? A true human being. Really great. But I believe that was on this day. Then it would have been, am I doing the math right?
43 years. 43, yeah, 43.
43 years.
A young DeForest ringside. You can still see me if you could recognize me from the past, which is almost an impossible thing to conceive that I could have ever looked that young and had that much dark hair. But sitting ringside in front of Dustin Hoffman, I'll never forget that night. So that was great. But I don't think it was salvageable, the Orange Bowl. They did this at Soldier
Urinals alone. The urinals alone, it wasn't salvageable.
Oh, that was great.
The trough.
It literally was a trough.
The trough, yes.
It went the length of the wall. One
of these days we got to just tell all Orange Bowl stories.
Yeah, it's fine. The Orange Bowl was a wonderful place.
How long ago was it that they knocked it down as a football?
Early 2000s, I thought. Early 2000s.
2000.
Was it that recent? Because when did
2000 was 25 years. 25.
When was Hard Rock Stadium originally built? When Joe Robbie was around, so that was a long time ago that he put this thing together. That had to be somewhere in the 90s or late 80s. Does it go back that far? No, it had to be 90s. All right, well, we can't figure it out. How are two old geezers like us trying to do math like this, Tony? Come on.
2008, they demolished it, so they were done playing there. 2007? I remember they played Virginia, and literally they lost like 49 to nothing. It was like some stupid. It was like, okay, all you people that want to hold on to this place, believe me, it's not helping this team.
No, I don't know.
I got a chair from there.
You did?
Well, yeah.
Or is it something that you can actually sit on?
Yeah.
Because I would think it would break like into.
My wife doesn't let it in the house, but it's something.
Let's bring in Ed Garcia from Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. We're hustling a little bit here today. Scoop Skolnick going to join us about 8:45. And it's good to see Ed is revved up and okay. Eddie, how are you, man? Did you watch this game last night? I know your Michigan Wolverines are making noise in football, but wow, what a basketball game last night.
I caught a little bit of a glimpse. Yesterday was Veterans Day, so
yes.
I was actually getting my butt slinging steaks all day.
Oh, wow.
How'd you do it?
It was amazing. It was. I'm preliminary numbers. We fed in my 12 restaurants over 13,000 vets yesterday.
Wow.
Free. So all I see right now, I think out of my pores is our steak seasoning is coming out right now. Couldn't be more excited. All I kept hearing was the beeps from the computers with more checks, and lines out the door. But I had so much fun because it is just such an awesome day to give back. I wish we could always do more for our vets because it's just an amazing thing.
Were a lot of them first timers, Ed?
A little bit because I got to work a little bit in the back and moved up front. I actually was at the Vieira location yesterday, and one of our local partners, just amazing group, they bring in like one of those cranes that can go up to, probably 300, 400 yards, and they hang out an American flag for us in our parking lot. So you can see this thing for miles.
Nice.
And I had a couple people stop me, and, one of them was a paratrooper, and he's like, man, I saw that thing. And he's like, I'm super patriotic. I served, I want to say 27 years is what he told me. And it was his first time, and he was absolutely blown away. He did say he used to go to one of our competitors, and he said, no more. So I thought that was really cool. But I think also a lot of vets know that we do take care of them that day, or are learning we take care of them that day. And it's just a really cool piece to see when you walk in. It definitely, if you came into the restaurant, it was a zoo because it's, we had lines at 11:15 a.m.
Were they dressed in the fatigues?
Yes, a lot of them were. And they had everything from their vests, the fatigues. Really just cool stuff to just see. It's just one of those awesome days to just work in there, and, and the staff is smiling the whole time. Yeah, just giving stuff away. It's a cool piece. I couldn't be more proud of Texas Roadhouse and be part of an organization that does something like that.
What would you estimate this is done around the country and around the world, all of your restaurants?
That is correct. Yeah. So we'll get the number a little bit, probably maybe tomorrow. It just depends on when they compile everything. Every Roadhouse does do a free meal till 2 p.m. But we honored it in essentially all day because we know not everybody can run out there and get there till 2. But the other really cool thing that we do is that we give a vet a voucher for whatever reason. If they can't make it or they want to be somewhere else to celebrate Veterans Day, we give them a voucher for that free meal that's good for up to 6 months. And I understand we're one of the few that still do that because that really started during COVID, where people couldn't come in or, things were crazy, restaurants were closed. And they are super appreciative of that because, then they can go enjoy some of their perks somewhere else and still get to enjoy Texas Roadhouse down the road.
Now, one more question, Ed. Do they get to order anything off the menu?
They get 13 items. If you're familiar with our early dine, which is great. Which again, that's the 6-ounce sirloin, chicken salad, country fried chicken. On and on. There's just some really, really awesome things on there. And you and I both know that you're going to be full one way or the other, and more than likely take a little bit home, especially if you're chowing on that fresh baked bread.
Yes, indeed. That's good.
And those potatoes look like they're on roids. I know they're not. They're all natural, but
100%.
I don't know where you get them. And it's incredible. And then beyond that, just the other day, I'm buying some beef, roast beef in the store at the deli counter. I usually give it to my dogs, enhance their food a little bit. They both love it. And price went up about 15% from the previous week. So you've been battling that and doing a great job with that as well. How excited are you for and what are your thoughts about the way the college football championship is going to go? Ed, what are you seeing there?
It was really cool with the first set of the highlights. It's amazing. A couple of the teams that we saw early in the year, we thought that may have been out. I know Tony loves his Notre Dame, is looking really strong. Bulldogs also looking really strong. It's interesting with this top 12. And I feel that, if everybody just keeps playing the way that they do, that lineup is going to hold steady. But it's amazing. The beginning of the season, I really kind of thought things were really, really wonky and people were going to be out of there. Even more recently, like Miami, I'm not sure what's happening, but I don't know. It's going to be an exciting season. I know that my team, Michigan, they got a very, very outside chance. We need a couple more mistakes from some of the big schools to get in there. We do have to win outright, and I'm not really worried about our next couple games except Ohio State. I want to continue the tradition and make it 5 in a row where we got Crying Ryan, wondering if
Ryan Ryan.
Yes,
that's a new one.
Absolutely.
It'll be a serious derailment this year, though. I mean, it seems like, look, Tony, you've been observing sports and commenting on it forever, just like I have, and now Lubie also, and Ed, obviously a keen observer, but doesn't it just seem like you shrug your shoulders and almost concede the championship this year to Ohio State? The other teams are scrambling a little bit. I don't know if people are believers in Indiana. They barely survived against Penn State last week. Took a miracle catch and throw in a late drive for them to remain unbeaten. Texas A&M, still the only other undefeated team out there, but doesn't seem like anybody's touching Ohio State. So we're counting on you, Ed, and your Michigan Wolverines to set the apple cart.
I'll tell you, I think, we are a mental piece for Ohio State 100%. I will be placing some of my financial earnings on my Wolverines for sure. And I do feel confident about it. I'll tell you, the sports book for sure is going to be super nervous about it because quite frankly, we didn't destroy them last year. It was 13-10, if I remember correctly. But again, we were supposed to lose by 38 or something like that. There is just something wrong with Ohio State when they play Michigan. They're a run team. They decide to pass, which, hey, I'm okay with that because they suck at it. But at the same time, it's like, hey, if they're here's my prediction. We're going to beat them here in a couple weeks, but Ohio State's going to go on and win the national championship. You're 100% right. They've done a great job. They figured out, you may remember this 2 years ago, they know how to use the NIL. They did a great job. They are prepping. They're playing. I think it's a done deal. I think next year is going to be a little bit different as more universities figure out how to use the NIL and develop their teams. But talent is spread. Coaching is a different ballpark. Recruiting is probably the new part of the game. That's what's going to give you the edge. If you want to win, besides your people on the field, you got to know how to get the people on your team.
Yes. And you mentioned Notre Dame and Pitt. That's a big, big game.
100%. It's going to be a great time. That's a really, really good rival. I think Notre Dame, kind of got back to their roots, is figuring it out. So I, again, may place some earnings on that team right there. That's my suggestion. Again, my disclaimer is that these are just my predictions and I have no internal knowledge of what's going to happen. I don't even know what I'm going to eat for breakfast.
Oh, God.
Oh, you can't do any worse than I've been doing lately.
Oh, yeah.
Just burial.
Defo, I tuned in early.
Yeah.
Defo is 0 for 0 for.
I think I went 0-5 on one show I did last week, and I was 0-2 yesterday on 2 games I gave out. So, but I was close. That's all that matters, right? It wasn't a total embarrassment. Would you rather be totally destroyed or be close and be wrong, even though you were within a point or two?
I don't know.
I'm only 50% wrong. If I pick their win, it's going to be the other one. So I halfway there.
You can be 50% wrong. You can be 50% right.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
Excuse me. All right. Well, we got to run. Scoop Skolnick's going to join us here in a sec. Ed, great stuff. Tony, always a pleasure. Lubie, back with more in a moment. Now that.
Take care.
Bye.
It's 8:45.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched, steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe B.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrophysicist extraordinaire, with us here on 940 Wins, 1230 The Zone, and around the world on the iHeartRadio app. You do a lot of podcasting, and you're very diverse in the things that you cover, including one with basketball star Kyrie Irving. You know, we picture Kyrie Irving lighting incense and chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. What was it like? I mean, the conversation with Kyrie Irving, especially in matters of astronomy.
Here's the thing with Kyrie Irving. So as you may know, and of course, if you knew that much about him, you would know that for a while there, he was a big fan of the flat earth. And so my response to that is, by the way, we care about Kyrie Irving because he's good at basketball. So people say, oh, you should not talk about a flat earth. And I'm saying, I don't care if Kyrie Irving wants a flat earth. He's a basketball player. There's plenty of jobs you can have in this world while you think earth is flat. Just don't let the head of NASA be among them, right? Just you live in a free country. You should be able to say what you want. And so I wasn't as distracted as other people were. I don't get my science from Kyrie Irving, and I'm not going to get basketball lessons from the head of NASA, period. So that's how I look at it.
From South Florida to the entire world, thank you to the iHeartRadio app. Here is Defo, joined by Lubie, on The Defo Show.
Hi, welcome back. I'm going to try and mail my way through this thing a little confident.
I didn't even notice it. I was looking at my phone. I'm like, oh, Devo's dying. Okay.
It happens. It happens. I mean, talking too much and the stuff gets stuck in your throat. Scoop Skolnick with us here today.
Good
Scoop,
to see
you look great, man. A new look. What's going on?
It's just too lazy to shave. That's all it is.
It's a bit.
It's been a little
like
bit.
David Letterman at this point. I mean,
it's been about a year. Yeah, no, Letterman. Wow, that's a reference. There you go. Stupid people tricks or stupid animal tricks.
Well, he's gone with the big beard now. He's got a whole do.
Yes, I know.
All right. So this isn't you're waiting for the Heat to win another championship. I mean, it's not one of those sports related things where you're not going to shave until something.
No. I mean, I did have it during the Panthers run last year, but it wasn't. That was not the intent. And I don't want to wait around for the Dolphins to win a championship because
no,
it ain't gonna look real good.
All right, but it seems like things are going better than I don't know what the expectations actually were, but considering Bam Adebayo has missed the last couple of games essentially, and Tyler Hero hasn't played yet. What do you think so far with this Heat season?
I like it. I think you have to like it. I did a podcast, as you know, I do some of those, in which I said, that I thought 37 to 42 wins was probably the pocket for them, and within an hour of that posting, someone fairly high up texted me and said, "You're way too down on us."
Really?
I think there was a belief inside that a couple things could lead to them to getting off to a better start than we projected. And remember, the schedule that they're in here, these first 12 games, 6 at home, 6 on the road, but 9 against teams that made the playoffs last year. So when we looked at that initial schedule, we were kind of like, okay, that's going to be challenging to get out of this at 6-6. And then we're like, okay, Tyler's out. It's going to be challenging to get out of this at 5-7, 4-8. And then Bam gets hurt. Powell misses time. So I don't think you can make any argument that to be 7-4 and going into tonight's game against a Cleveland team that's sitting everybody's taking the night off. Donovan Mitchell is not playing. Mobley's not playing. Even Tyson, their backup center, is not playing. They're not. Nobody's playing for Cleveland.
Yeah, they're like sitting.
So this should be 8-4 tonight. I mean, to get that out of this, but not just that. Also, they were dealing with the Rozier stuff off the court. Also, suppose house burned down.
Yes.
Also, so start to throw all of these things together, and I mean, you have to be incredibly satisfied, especially the way they're doing it. It's not like they're lucking into something. They're playing well. They're playing well. Like they've bought into a style, and they're executing it. And people are going to be like, well, they're not playing well on defense. They are actually. They're top 10 in the league in defensive rating. It's just that their pace has increased to a point that they're giving up a lot of points, but they're scoring more. So you have to like it, I think. And it's not just what it does for now, but also it's the flexibility it's giving them into the future, because they've got some players that are popping now. And if they do need to go get a star, so to speak, a distressed star, they have players that other teams are going to want. So they're thrilled. I can tell you, they have optionality now, and it just amazes me. Every single time we think they're down, they figure it out within a couple of years and start to get themselves back up, while the Dolphins stay down. It's amazing the differences between the two franchises, and it has to frustrate the people in Miami Gardens. That why can't we do this? We try 5-year rebuilds and we have to rebuild again, and the Heat just 2 years and okay, we're back on an upswing. That's where they feel like they are right now.
So it's interesting, and look, they did the Norman Powell edition was big. He was a borderline all-star player last year for the Clippers, and he had just been wanting and needing room to grow, and the Heat were the perfect place. He said when he was moved here, it was one of his happiest days because he'd always wanted to play for the Heat, and clearly we know why. He fits right in. You've seen Jaquez sort of erase last year and get back to picking up where he left off the first season, and definitely want to talk more about that. But also, you just said it, they're all buying into this system. Okay, well, because the last year or two, the offense was just bad. It was really rough, really awkward, and they struggled to score. Now they're one of the better offensive teams in the league. Like Spoelstra talks about how, and Bam is talking, we're not even running plays, we're just playing. Okay, like is that literally?
They are running plays. That's a misnomer a little bit. They're running plays. It's just that the players are deciding on them. This is the whole thing. Okay, Eric Spoelstra should be coach of the year. He probably won't be again, although there's a lot more buzz around him than there has been. What Eric did is he gave up control. I mean, essentially, in one sense, okay, it's easier for Spoelstra to give up control because he's not going to get fired. Okay, so he has, the long-term contract, all the rest of this stuff. He has the protection of the organization. He can try things. Okay, a lot of coaches can't try things. In Orlando, people were saying, and we cover the Magic too because I run the SI site for the Magic, so I follow them a little bit more closely than I used to. The Magic had hype this year. People said Mosley was going to be coach of the year. I said Mosley might get fired.
Yeah.
Because that team has talent, but they haven't won anything yet. And like, if you're Mike Malone or any of these other coaches that's out there right now, like that's a job I'm going to want, right? Like Paolo Banchero, etc. And so I looked at that. I'm like, okay, Mosley might be in trouble. He's put in a new offensive system. They haven't taken to it. Okay. In Memphis, that's a mess. The guy they promoted from last year. And, Ja doesn't want to play for him, apparently. Okay. And that's not working. In Miami, it's worked. Spo basically gave up calling a bunch of pick and rolls and said to the players, here, read and react and call what you want. And that's what this is. So it's a bit of a misnomer that's been put out there that this guy LaRoche, who came in from Memphis, okay, who's helped them put in the system, that they're not running anything. They are running things. It's not complete just AAU ball. But they're making the decisions on what to go with, and players are not calling for picks. That's the thing. Like the last game, they ran 9 pick and rolls the whole game. That would be like 3 possessions in the past. And when you don't have a traditional point guard, you can run it that way. Now, how is it going to look when Tyler comes back? That's a bit of a question, but I actually don't have as many issues with that as others do. He's very, very smart in terms. He's a very skilled offensive player. I think he's going to play off of these guys defense is another story because their defense is not getting enough credit because of the high point totals.
Yeah.
But when they're putting out guys like Davion Mitchell and Drew Smith and Andrew Wiggins, and Bam, they've got defenders. Okay. Tyler changes that equation a little bit, and I'm curious to see how that plays. But offensively, I think him and Norm are going to be great together. Yeah. I don't have any questions about that whatsoever. None.
Two things. We figure you know more about this than Harlan Selznick. When is Hero coming back? And what is the plan there? And secondly, and I've said this many times, I'm a big fan of Jaime Jaquez Jr. I liked him at UCLA. He reminds me of when I used to play pickup ball at the Hollywood Y when Tommy Chong was playing there and was actually a decent basketball player. A young Tommy Chong, hair arrangement somewhat similar, style and also the body type. What happened to him last year that he was able to shake off this year? What is the difference there? Because he looks like he's revived the hope that he gave everybody that he was going to really turn out well in his rookie season.
Well, let me start with Tyler real quick. I mean, he's ramping up. It's clear. He's posting all these things. They're going to be careful with it. He's about a week away from what they said was the timeline, but the timeline I'd heard at the time was longer. So I don't think it's necessarily going to be in a week. We'll see. I know people are saying maybe it would be that second Knicks game. I don't see it. Maybe I don't think they're going to bring him back for the Jimmy game, which, by the way, that's a funny story today. But Jimmy last night used the quote, basically, we got to keep the main thing. And I'm like, they all do this? They all have a problem with Pat and then they leave and then they use his language.
Exactly.
So LeBron did the same thing. But I think Tyler, we're probably looking within 2 weeks, probably. But I don't know, exactly when. Bam's going to sit tonight. He's out of the walking boot. I think that's sooner. I still think he's going to be back before Tyler. So I think he'll be integrated back in. As far as Jaquez goes, it's one thing to say he got back to where he was 2 years ago. He didn't. He's way past it. I think that last year was a product of a few things. First thing, the league kind of figured him out. Okay. It was a lot of spinning and not a lot of this. Okay. Spo, I think, made a mistake with him last year, which got in Jaime's head, which was you're gonna be a relief option and sort of a corner 3-point shooter. That's not his game. And I remember being in Vegas this year, and Spo said, we're going to get him back to playing downhill. But I think what Spo has unleashed here, first thing, I think that gave Jaime confidence, which I think was a huge problem last year. In addition to getting past a groin injury that he'd been dealing with, and he was sick 4 times. I don't know. There was something lingering there. So you got past all that, but Spo has gone further and basically made him the point guard in a lot of these situations. He's put the ball in his hands late in game, and Jaime's just making it. There's space. To get back to what Mike was saying, all Spo is really doing is managing the space. Okay, he's harping on them on the space. He's not calling the play, but he's saying, "Get your asses away from each other." Okay, that's basically what he's doing. And so once he's creating that, then Jaime has the ball in his hands at the top. And the same has been true for Davion, by the way, okay? Or for Larson, and will be for Tyler, okay? And has been for Norm. That's why I'm saying, they don't and Jovic as well. They don't necessarily need one guy, okay, we're going to go on a pick and roll. Okay, here, Tyler's got the ball. Bam, come here, okay, run the pit, and then play off of it. Now, the one guy I think on the team, and I'll get back to Hawkins in a second, but the one guy I think on the team who will benefit from a little more pick and roll is Ware, only because he can dive for lobs, okay? And I actually think Tyler coming back will bring a little bit more pick and roll back, specifically with Kalel, with Ware, and to get Kalel some easy ones, because if Kalel gets a couple dunks, then he engages, and they need him to engage consistently because sometimes he floats. So I think there'll be some of that. But Jaquez has been tremendous. Jaime Jaquez's numbers right now are better than Jimmy Butler's. Right now, They're better than Jimmy Butler's. I mean, he's shooting 58% from the floor. Jimmy's shooting 40. Okay. I'm sorry. Jimmy's not shooting 40. I'm talking about Jaquez's third year is better than Jimmy's third year was in Chicago when Jimmy shot 40. And their numbers right now this season are basically the same. So, I mean, he's a player. I think that they've rejuvenated him, and I think it's going to stick.
All right, switching gears here in the time we have left. I'm looking at a list on CBS Sportsline this morning. Coaches on the hot seat in the NFL. They list them in this order: Matt LaFleur with Green Bay, surprising a little bit. Sean McDermott, Buffalo Bills. Raheem Morris, Stefanski with Cleveland. Pete Carroll, of course, Las Vegas. How strange is it that Mike McDaniel is not on that list? Doesn't make the top 5, or is he suddenly safe now that Chris Greer is gone?
I mean, I've been a fan of Mike's in a lot of ways. Although I think it's, and I know he lives in my area, but like trolling Bills fans when you're 3-7, I
think that's weird.
Could you ever see Don Shula doing that?
No. I mean, I like it, but it's like this part of the thing where it's, the parts of the personality, they all work when the team is winning, and they're not winning. They won a game. It's they won a game. They won a game they weren't supposed to win. Credit to them. They have an easy schedule coming up. But again, they're not that good. So when you say they have an easy schedule, I mean, I'm not anticipating they're going to run the table through here. I don't know. I mean, to me, I'm torn on this because, again, I like Mike, and I think there's been a lot of circumstances that have run against him. But at the same time, like, I'm tired of the half measures with that organization. And it seems like Ross is pulling another one. Like, he promoted from within on the GM for now, but then he just fired 2 of the longest standing people in the scouting department. It feels like he's just going to keep the status quo in terms of who he has running it now. Okay. Because that's the kind of thing you do if you're making decisions, because a guy who's been with people a long time doesn't want to continue working with them. And then keep the coach for now. And I just think they need to just bring in somebody from the outside and just start over, and then let him evaluate the coach. Likely he might go a different direction. The Tua thing is hanging in the air for them. I don't know. I mean, not to have Mike. Look, I'll say this: if Matt LaFleur is fired, like, I'd go hire Matt LaFleur. Like, I don't, I know that he's not had a good season with Green Bay, and the offense is not working. But I mean, there's been a track record of success there for him, at least to a certain point, and I would look at that. I don't know. I think a change of scenery is needed. I think the fans are past this. I don't think beating Buffalo one time when Buffalo was completely flat, solves all of this. And again, even the trade deadline, Defo was half measure. Like, they traded Phillips, and I know why they kept Waddle, but they could have maybe gotten something for Chubb. I know there wasn't out there, but they're just stuck in between. And I'll just come back to what I said at the beginning. The Heat do this over and over and over and over, and the Dolphins over the last 25 years can't do it once. They can't do it once. It's crazy.
How weird would it have been if the Buffalo Bills fans actually attacked Mike McDaniel, turned his bar over, threw him in the ocean like he was the Stanley Cup? I mean,
well, right. I mean,
the league doesn't have any kind of a position on that. They're quick to throw a flag on taunting. A guy just holds a football out in front of the face of the guy that he just caught a ball against.
I thought Kachuk was going to be in the back of that. Doesn't Kachuk live there now at this point? Kachuk
Who would mess with the crowd at the Elbow Room, especially if they just come in from Buffalo and watch their team lose after drinking?
Exactly. No, exactly, and especially if you're not MAGA. But anyway, it is what it is. That's why I avoid that place. Sorry, right. I'm not supposed to say that. Go ahead.
Well, it is kind of Trumpian, I guess.
It is. It's the one place. It's the one place in Broward County that, it's the one spot
that you're safe.
Yeah.
All right. What do you see? I mean, we're watching a couple of teams get off to good starts. I don't know that they weren't anticipated. Interestingly, and this, I guess, is a broader question about whether the 3-point shot has actually ruined the entertainment quotient of the NBA. But Cleveland chucked up 63s in that game. I think they made 20. So they were right there on the number of the equation where you're getting equivalent value out of hoisting threes versus 2-point shots if you were shooting 50%. And then I'm looking at a stat line with Cade Cunningham the other night. And it was interesting. We were talking about this yesterday. Rick Barry's name comes up twice in a short period of time. He had Cunningham missed more shots than anybody had since Rick Barry in 1967 in a game by missing 30 field goal attempts in a game where he scored 40-something points.
Yes.
And then I guess the other stat was more favorable for Barry. Luka Doncic has some ridiculous total of points already through however many games the Lakers have played, 10 or 11. And it was the highest total since Rick Barry in 1966. Wow. So, but I mean, what do you think? I mean, the obsession with 3-point shooting. Mike Brown in New York has the Knicks chucking up like 10 more threes a game than they were under Thibodeau. Maybe no surprise, but
No.
what's your feeling about that? Yeah, I mean, you're watching a lot of NBA basketball, a lot more than we are. Are you entertained by this constant obsession with jacking up threes?
I'm not entertained by the three part anymore and how much it's tilted. I'm entertained by some teams, including the Heat. And like I said, Orlando's tried it. The Knicks with Mike Brown, you knew they were going to do it. Trying to be a little more free flowing offensively. I like that. The always ending in the 3-point shot, I don't. I feel like if the three comes in the flow of the offense, then yes. If the three is forced, then no. I mean, a lot of this, obviously, Steph created a lot of this stuff. And, all these other teams have tried to copy it. I will say this, though. People bang on Adam Silver, and I understand why. There's some things I don't necessarily agree with. Ratings are way up this year. Ratings are way up, even though nobody can find the games. And I'll tell you what. It's funny because I was coming back on a plane with UD from Vegas in July, and he couldn't wait to get away from ESPN. He had a certain number of days he had to do with ESPN, and he would tell me that, like, in the production meetings, like the beginning, he'd be like, "We got to talk about LeBron today," and he'd be like, "This topic ain't got nothing to do with LeBron." Okay, and I'm watching the Amazon coverage, and I'm seeing him and Blake Griffin and Dirk and guys who actually know the game, and they're explaining the game. Like the NBA TV contract has worked out so far simply to take control away from ESPN and what NBC and Amazon are doing, and I actually think that's a big factor in the ratings. People actually enjoy the content now. Like they're trusting people to actually care about basketball instead of just let's do Stephen A. and Kendrick. What the hell did you do in the NBA, Perkins? Screaming at each other, okay, about this or that or whatever, okay, and being wrong about everything. It's been a pleasant surprise that's changed this year. So I've enjoyed that anyway. The 3-point shooting, yeah, it's a tilt, but it'll tilt back a little bit because as teams start to overplay the three, then the other stuff becomes available. You need a mid-range. Look, Shea won the MVP last year, won the Finals MVP last year. Okay, and he's a mid-range player, and he's a free throw player, unfortunately. But he's not chucking threes all the time.
Are people aware of what level of quality player Michael Ray Richardson, who just passed away at 70, was in your opinion? I mean, people don't remember Elgin Baylor being the kind of player he was, or Connie Hawkins. This is real Spencer Haywood, old school stuff, but. How would you? Magic Johnson says that Sugar Ray Richardson, Michael Ray Richardson, was as good as he was, except he was a few inches shorter. He thought he was one of the great point guards of all time. Where would you be in terms of historical perspective on him?
I did watch him when I was really young because I was living in New York, so we would get the games up there. I think it was Channel 11 would have the games. Yeah, PIX, I believe. They had the Yankee games. I remember that. Channel 9 had the Mets, I think. Pretty sure. Anyway, I don't know why that's coming back to me. He was terrific. I mean, unfortunately with him, the story became the off the court stuff. If not for that, then yeah. I mean, he was a guy who in an age where it was harder to get 20 could consistently get you 20 while setting everybody up. He was a lot like, some of sort of the combo point guards that we see today. He was a little bit ahead of his time in that regard, from what I remember. He had, who had a little of him in his game, but again, had some half-court stuff in there. Marbury, I thought.
Okay.
Watching Stephon Marbury, who I had some moments where he was a top 5 point guard in the NBA, but didn't really sustain it, and ended up becoming known for selling really cheap shoes, which was actually nice. But yeah, Richards, he was terrific, and I saw that he passed yesterday at 70. I would recommend everybody read. Mark Spears did a long sit down with him recently, I think for Enscape, and it's worth a read. Actually, it's interesting on his life and what could have been. Although he seemed to have turned his life around by the end. Credit to him. So,
he became a coach. I guess David Stern, after suspending him lifetime, ended up sort of being an ally and helped him get into coaching. Interesting. Mike Vaccaro in the Post had a nice tribute article to Michael Ray Richardson today, and he cited an incident. He's talking about how much fun he was in the locker room with quotes. That he was very straightforward at a time where that wasn't necessarily the MO of most of the players. Right, were kind of quiet and didn't say much. But and they asked him what was going on with the Knicks, and he said the ship be sinking.
Oh yeah.
And, the reporter fires back, well, to what level? And he says the sky's the limit.
Right, exactly.
So he was great. All right, Scoop, always a pleasure, man. Thanks so much. 5 Reasons Sports Network, Scoop Skolnick. Best coverage that you can get on all the local teams in town. We thank you, as always, for being with us. It's always a pleasure, my friend.
Absolutely. Also, check out the Miami Heat page on SI.
Yes.
Check that out.
Nice. Very nice.
We're it's what is it? It's 9/11, and I don't want to say that. We're just talking about something in New York. We're already at 15,000 page views, so people are paying.
Nice.
So check it out.
Beautiful.
Nice. That's great.
So we appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks a lot. Ethan Scoop Skolnick, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we have to get out of here, Lubie. Sorry for the choking fit there. I can't seem to shake this thing completely, especially exacerbated in the morning by talking at great length. So hopefully we'll get over that, and hopefully you guys will have a great day. For Mike Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. We'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:12.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.